Waithaka,
yes.
Let me come to you because you had a comment for Eve.
I didn't have a comment for her. I wanted to applaud her for the work that she had done on herself. Because
give me a high five then.
Receive. Listen, when she said, I didn't have money to save, that was not a true statement. It was that the money that she had, she was using for other things. So one of the first principles that we learn at St. Tonny is this, and I tell you this as a viewer at home. Take an exercise for 1 month and just write down where all your money goes. That's what you did, isn't it? And the experience was that you recognized, I'm spending a lot on shoes, I'm spending a lot on hair, I'm spending a lot on nails, I'm spending a lot on all these various things that if I adjust, I can be able to do something about. Yeah. So for those who have cash, because you are eating, you are still going out, you are still doing that. Maybe you are not paying yourself a salary, but you had cash to sustain yourself in that period of time. When she took a moment to assess, she found some gaps which allowed her to begin to save, to pay off the debt. The issue is many of us don't even know where the money is going. And that's the problem. So when you're unemployed, the cash comes in, but it just disappears. And the thing is, when you actually sit down and take that process of writing it down, then you see where the gaps are. And that's, I mean, look, you said it's called we're looking at financial discipline. And the thing is, unfortunately, there's not an easy way. There's not a pill or injection you can take for discipline. You just do it. And you set yourself up to be able to do that. I want to be very clear about this. We talked, I think somebody mentioned here about about the mobile apps, especially for loans. Let me tell you this. Again, it's how you use it that matters. These mobile loans, let me tell you, they're a beautiful thing if you use them correctly. This Mama Mboga who leaves her house in the morning at this time, the way we are talking here, at 6 in the morning, she's in the market. She'll borrow 2,000 shillings off her phone. She'll buy all the mboga that she's going to go and sell near your estate. She'll come to your estate and sell that same mboga she bought for 2,000 for 4,000. She pays back her loan. She has 2,000 to take care of her family. Please don't tell me these things are bad. The problem is that, Fred, you're in the... After this, you go for a drink. And then you do what? You just borrow something to buy that meal, and there's nothing to return after that. That's where the issue, it's not the loan that is the problem, it's how you use it. And if you have a problem like how you're using that loan, please deal with it differently. And we must be sensitive on air in this country. Listen, as you said, Tony, yes? There are people in this country who don't have money. If you see somebody not eating, understand they don't even have a shilling. And so we must be careful when we are talking in this place. Please understand that if you have a paycheck, even if it's 10,000 shillings, you are doing better than many people in this country. So can you take responsibility that 10,000 shillings? Because in our classes at St. Tonny, the same problem that somebody with 10,000 shillings is dealing with is the same issue with somebody with an income of 2 million per month. We've seen them in our classes. But because they have never been able to manage 10,000 shillings, even if you're so skilled and you get an income of 2 million, you will be in debt worth 4 million. Because you didn't know how to manage that cash. So the discipline is supposed to take you along the way.
Right. Judge, let me come to you. So I have a friend who is in 4 chamas, 2 circles. Correct. Where does he get the money to disperse them in 6 different places?
Interestingly, the money is there. It's about commitment. Once you have committed and you're loyal to these 2 circles and 4 chamas, you'll find yourself distributing the obligation in each of them, and you still have enough to eat and even socialize with. Coming on the circle side, I wanted to make a comment on Mr. Waithaka's aspect, where Waithaka is trying to tell us about how can we get disciplined. I wanted to mention that a circle offers the easiest way. If you're on payroll, for example, 1/3 of your salary goes to the taxman. Take another 1/3 to take care of your home obligations. Go to your circle and ask them for a maximum loan. That maximum loan plus your savings is the other 1/3. Then spoil yourself with the remaining. Just commit that loan to a viable project that will bring you something back. And you're home and dry.
And it's interesting what you're saying, because the discipline, KRA taxation always works. Because it's discipline and you know it's there.
It is there.
Tony Robbins says, Tony Robbins, if you've seen him, he says this, put a tax on yourself. You see, because when the government increases tax, we just pay it.
Yeah.
You don't complain, you don't do anything, you just pay. If you put a tax on yourself, see what it does, and put it in a circle like this.
All right, let me bring in some text messages we are getting in from feedback from our people. The hashtag is Daybreak. 224222 is the SMS line. You can also call in 0719 777. We have the first one coming up on your screen right now from 224222. Comment. Very ardent viewer of the show from Eldoret. Says many young people would wish to save, but economic realities are too harsh. Saving requires lots of patience to reap the fruits. Recently, the government floated Emma Kiba to bond worth 250 million, but only 79% of it was taken up with a 10% annual return and a minimum of 3,000 investment. The youth should have bought it out.
Okay, let's take a look at another SMS. Wow. Nixon, you say, how do we tell a genuine lending financial institution, given that we've been swindled a lot by bodies led by, even by men of God? George, let me throw that to you.
Yes.
Why are you swindling?
I would like to answer that.
Yes, go ahead.
So first, when we talk about SACCOs, one of the factors that one would want to look at is, what is the common bond? What is it that brings the members together? So usually you'll find they're affiliated to an employer, for example, a community, that is people living in one common place. But then this has been abused. For example, when you just talk of a church, it's a little bit not the reality. And also if you look at the real principles of a SACCO, members are equal. So when you are joining an institution which is probably being patronized by somebody you revere or you have more respect for than yourself, then you are not in a SACCO. SACCOs are very clear in their nature and in the regulatory framework. What has happened is unscrupulous businessmen have taken advantage of loopholes in the legal framework, which I'm hoping the next revision will take care of. So what one needs to look at, the SACCO that you're joining, are you able to trace it to some common bond somewhere? Do you have a reference who is introducing you to that SACCO? And then, of course, we will be very careful with SACCOs that are very visible in the media. SACCOs are member-based, so we don't advertise to everybody. A SACCO is concerned about its members. So situations where you find big music, big advertisements about a SACCO, definitely that one is in question. So the viewer who is asking, how would we rely on any financial institution? In every corner of Kenya, there is a very, very stable SACCO with offices that you can walk into. And once again, we will have one or two. In my village, we say every market must have a madman. The fact that there is a madman in the market does not stop us from going to the market. So exactly the same. We'll have one or two rogue SACCOs. That does not stop us from joining SACCOs. Interestingly, we have over 20,000 cooperatives in Kenya. But you'll find in a year, 2-3 cases arise about one or two rogue SACCOs. You'll find that's a very small percentage. But of course, where money is lost, and usually because of numbers, this must be really given attention.
All right. And Tony, there's one person here who's asking, after you said that on investment, you need to explore beyond your dreams. Gregory Anyona says, so is he saying that spending beyond one capability, in other words? Are you saying that we should spend beyond one's capability? Maybe you should explain that.
It's a good question, and it's a genuine question. In my statement, I said, when it comes to spending, live within your means. But when it comes to investments, explore beyond your means. Savings, and that's what we are talking about here, is a discipline issue, and you can only save what you have. And if you can only save what you have, depending on where you are saving, again, you can only get the interest that that institution is giving you. Most of the institutions, 4 to at most 7%. So if you want to grow your wealth by just saving, then it will take you a long time and a huge amount of savings, which again is amount you don't have to grow wealth. But wealth is grown on investments. And it's those investments that I'm talking that your dream should be beyond what you are earning. And one way to give an example of what I'm talking about is when you are thinking about investments and that are led by savings, for example, in a SACCO you will save, and within, I think, 6 months, they'll yes. give you, most of them 3 times or 4 times your savings. You see, that amount is beyond, you've been given beyond what you can afford, or what, not afford, but beyond what you have. If you invest that money in an investment that, again, gives you back something to repay the loan, and also to build up on your savings, then what you are doing is you are investing beyond your means. Yeah. So the reason why I say that is because most people, when they think about investments and they're able to shrink their dreams to what they are currently earning. But the only way you can grow wealthy is by making sure that you take risk on investments that can grow and can bring back beyond what you are currently earning. Mm. And the best way to do that is by taking debts. Mm. And loans, again, when you take a good loan, yeah. Then it can be able to boost your incomes. And once it boosts your incomes, it's a cycle. And I like what Waithaka said, that it's not a one-day thing, it's a process. And the moment you accelerate that with the time, then you grow wealthy. Okay. Yeah, and we need to say that there's no blanket definition of wealth. Again, I go back to what I said, that money is a tool. So it depends on what solutions are you trying to get to, because we need to get the pressure out of the way that for you to grow wealth, you need, you know, to be living still where you need to drive what. That definition of wealth is a solution to the problems that you have. People have different problems.
Behind the scene, you talked about personality.
Yes.
Could you bring that out for our audience as well? Do you think that personality determines one's financial discipline?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Financial discipline for me is like I said, or rather financial discipline is an issue of personality. Different people have been wired differently as far as decisions is concerned, and I'll say it's about decisions. So how people make decisions on anything, leave alone money, on anything, is really a personality issue. There are people who will not, for example, get into a noisy matatu because they believe that noisy matatu are driven badly, and so they might get an accident. There are people who want that one so that they get to town quickly. It's a personality issue. Going back to money, different people have different personalities, and for example, on savings, people who are, I'll call them very disciplined and focused, are more likely to save without coercion or without even having means, like we're being told, of taking a loan to force you to save. And they do it very comfortably. And these are people who don't have a problem with living within their means, as we are saying. And they're able to draw their spending plan, as Waithaka was saying. But again, there are people who are just risk takers. They live for today. And they don't mind, if I have money, I will spend it. I'll spend it because, you know, and they have a lot of faith in God, that tomorrow God will provide. and these are the people now who really need help. And I think me and my friend Eve here, I don't want to say that's where we fall, but unless now we have people like Waithaka to hold our hands, to tell us, hey, you need to slow down on this and so forth, our personality can affect our savings. Okay. So, and again, what I've also realized, the kind of people who take a lot of risk and they spend a lot, they're the guys who make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, they don't save. So you find someone who makes 30,000 saves more than someone who makes 100 million. Yes. And again, yesterday I listened to a discussion about these MP things. MP earn 1 million shillings, but one MP was saying that most MPs take home less than 100,000. Yeah. So the issue is not how much you earn, because these MPs can take 700,000 home if they wanted. Yeah. If they wanted. I mean, what is the problem of an MP living in Zimmerman? You get? So it's personality. and personality is something that can be worked out.
Okay.
Yes.
If you were talking about social media influence and how to use it to your advantage now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, for the people who use social media really well, they know how to make sure what they're selling is right on your face because they know their audience. Yeah. So they'll curate that content according to whom they want to buy their stuff. And you'll find the way you're saying, people like us who are not really disciplined, we will see the shoes, we are stressed because we've not been paid, we are stressed because that contract was cancelled or something, adding to cart, you add to cart, you add to cart. I mean, the e-commerce platforms are so many. You go and just start swiping your card without planning, without even knowing where the money is coming from. That's where you start doing Fuliza, that's when you start doing all the money, I mean, you start borrowing on money to spend on things that are not bringing income. The thing is, we need to be able to see how to harness technology and social media, for instance, to see how do I then make my product sell on social media so that as much as I'm buying from him, he's buying from me indirectly. And I think also what we need to start understanding is it's not only products that need to be sold. I am in the service industry. I sell my services online if I can harness those particular opportunities because I can do webinars, I can do podcasts, sell even across the borders, not just within. So I think we just need to start shifting our mindsets in the sense that I really don't need to be trading in Nairobi because I find everybody is trading in Nairobi, we're trading the same thing. Right. What about me going to Kisumu? People have internet in Kisumu, in Mombasa, and so it's just about looking at your playground. Is it too concentrated? Yes. Then where else can I get the similar customers who can pay for my services?
Speaking of different regions, we have Alfred, you're calling in from Meru. Alfred, good morning.
Hello.
Alfred, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
How are you? Please, what's your comment or your question to the panel with this discussion on financial discipline?
Okay. My question is...
Go on.
Yes, go ahead with the question, Alfred.
My comment is this.
Okay.
I've applied for a loan. And I've been doing that for many years. I'm now 50 years old. I've been doing that for many years. But I wonder, how many of you have taken time through those 6 papers of very hard English and your personal loan? Maybe, for example, I've applied for 25,000 shillings and I'm supposed to pay that money for 1 year. And when my payslip comes, in Nashanga, I'm finding 240,000 shillings, my balance, after paying for the first premium.
Okay.
So I was asking,
yes,
how many of you at that panel have taken time to read those papers? And I know there are more than 5 of them. And the only part you are shown is just to sign.
Sign.
So please help us, help those people who are starting to apply for loans to take time to read those papers.
Okay.
Otherwise,
wow.
Yeah,
thank you so much, Alfred. Alfred is cautioning us to read those contracts very well.
Very interesting aspect of it. Because when you go for a loan, you don't know how much you're going to end up paying at the end of it. You just take the loan.
That's right.
And it says you're just shown the part where you need to sign.
Let me say this, and I'm sure I'll be backed up here. Now, you have a right as a consumer to understand. So please do not take something that no one is forcing you to take that loan. And when they put those papers in front of you, tell them, you, the agent, take me through this. And if the agent doesn't know how to answer those questions, go to the bank and ask a manager there to answer those questions. In the Centonomy class, we have a whole class on debt, which begins to show you, if I borrow this, how much am I expected to repay? How much is the monthly repayment? How much is the total interest alone, so that you understand how the banks are able to make money.
And even that interest varies, right?
It does vary over time. And how can it vary? What are your rights around that? And the thing is, let's not look at banks as evil people. Banks are just businesses like everyone else. They are trying to make money. How do they make their money? It is through debt. So please don't feel pressured to get into and to sign a document that you don't understand. Let them explain it to you, and if you don't understand, go and do some more research to find out what is a loan and what is the potential over time. But you hear exactly what we've been talking about here. Good, take a loan, but for the right reason. That loan can be able to help you to grow.
And I think also the other thing, also very, very important, is where are you taking the loan from? Because there are so many people who are offering loans out here, some with very crazy interest rates. the most important thing before you even take the loan is to ask yourself, why am I taking this loan and for which investment? Now, it is very important that you understand that if you're taking a loan to do some business, that your net income, your profit, exceeds the percentage of the loan. Because otherwise, if it's the same, for example, if I take a loan for 14% and the business I'm getting into, the net profit is 14%, I'm working for the bank. If it's low, if my net income is lower than the interest of the loan, then I'm getting myself in a deeper hole. Of importance is before you even go signing the loan and getting the loan, first you must do your calculations. And that's why financial literacy is important. And like Waithaka said, there are so many people with this information. You just need to get the information and the skills. Unfortunately, people don't want to invest in information. I don't know why. Because it's very important. Because the reason why you will take a loan, for example, of 250,000, as he said, and then pay $1 million, is because the interest is crazy. And the truth is, so many businesses in Africa, there are very few, unless in tech and innovation, that will earn more than 20% of net income. If that loan, and that's why I think these loans from SACCOs are very important, because at maximum you'll find it's 12%. So if you are earning like 16% of the net income, you know that there is a percentage of growth, and that's how you create wealth. Otherwise, you will just be, having businesses here and there, but you're just mark timing and working for the banks.
All right, George, we have to take a quick break, but I'll come to you when we come back from the break here. Then you'll explain to us the SACCO loans and why that's the best option if you want to take a loan, that is. But Daybreak takes a quick break. When we come back, we get the final comments as well, and your questions and comments are all welcome at this point. See you in a bit.